The forest still echoed with the clash of battle. Shattered weapons lay scattered on the ground, and the lake's surface rippled with glowing blood. Daniel stood with his chest heaving, sweat rolling down his face, his weapon trembling in his grip. Beside him, the feathered alien girl leaned against the massive egg, her feathers dim but still glowing faintly. The hunters had retreated into the trees, but their threat had not vanished. They would return, stronger, angrier, and in greater numbers. Both Daniel and the alien girl knew it was only a matter of time. The egg pulsed again, its light brighter. Now the cracks spreading across its surface. Daniel looked at it with unease, his voice low and tense. "It is going to hatch soon," he said, almost to himself. The alien girl nodded, her glowing eyes fixed on the shell. "Yes, and when it does, the universe will never be the same." Her words carried both fear and pride. Daniel swallowed hard, his mind racing with questions he could not answer. He turned to her, his voice sharp. "Tell me the truth. Why me? Why is this my burden too?" The alien girl met his gaze, her feathers flickering in the faint moonlight. "Because the egg carries your essence as well as mine," she whispered. "You were part of that night, part of the choice, part of the creation." Her words struck him like a blade, the weight of her confession pulling at his chest. Daniel took a step back, his voice shaking. "Then this is as much my child as it is yours." The alien girl's eyes softened, though her voice remained firm. "Yes, but it is not a child like either of us. It is something new, something both human and alien, something dangerous to all." Daniel stared at her, his mind spinning. Humans would never accept such a being. Aliens would hunt it without mercy. Every side would see the egg as a threat, a weapon, or an abomination. He clenched his fists, his voice rough. "Then we are standing against the galaxy itself." She stepped closer, her feathers brushing softly against his arm, her voice lowered, steady yet fragile. "I cannot protect it alone. I cannot fight the hunters, the soldiers, the tribes, not without you." Daniel looked into her glowing eyes, and in them he saw both desperation and trust. He realized that she was offering him more than a plea. She was offering him a choice, to stand with her against everything, or to walk away and save himself. The silence between them grew heavy, filled with the pulse of the egg and the whispers of fate. Daniel exhaled, his voice steady but heavy with resolve. "If I stay, I risk everything. If I leave, I lose everything." The alien girl's feathers glowed faintly brighter at his words. "You understand," she whispered, her voice almost breaking. He nodded slowly, his eyes hard with decision. "Then I will stay. I will fight with you, no matter what comes." Her gaze softened, a rare warmth crossing her sharp features. "Then the egg will know it is not alone," she said, almost like a promise. The egg pulsed stronger, as if answering their bond. Light spread across the cracks, filling the cave with radiant energy. Daniel shielded his eyes, his heart pounding. The alien girl knelt beside the egg, her hand resting gently on its surface. She whispered words in her own language, soft and melodic. Daniel did not understand the meaning, but he felt the power in her tone. It was a vow, a prayer, and a warning all at once. Outside the cave, distant horns echoed through the night. The hunters were calling for reinforcements. The alien girl's feathers stiffened, her voice sharp. "They will return soon. We must leave this place. We must find refuge far from their reach." Daniel nodded, his grip tightening on his weapon. "Then lead the way. I will follow." She rose to her feet, her feathers flaring with a soft glow. For the first time, Daniel saw not just a warrior, but a partner. They moved quickly, lifting the egg together, its weight heavy but its presence powerful. Each step carried danger, yet each step also carried a bond stronger than fear. The alien girl guided them through hidden paths, across rivers of mist, and into forests untouched by hunters. Daniel followed, his resolve firm. Though the weight of destiny pressed harder with every mile, he realized that the egg was no longer just her secret. It was their secret, their burden, their promise. The night air was thick with tension, but inside him burned a quiet strength. He was no longer alone. As dawn broke, the two reached a hidden valley, shielded by towering cliffs and glowing vines. Here, the alien girl stopped, setting the egg gently on a bed of moss. She turned to Daniel, her expression solemn. "This is where it will hatch. This is where its fate will begin." Daniel stood beside her, staring at the glowing shell. He felt the weight of countless stars pressing down on him. But he also felt a strange peace, a trust that had been born in the fire of danger. The choice had been made, Daniel, and the Kanyel and the Kale. Feathered alien girl would protect the egg together, not as strangers, not as enemies, but as guardians bound by trust. Whatever hatched would not face the world alone, and though the galaxy might rise against them, they would stand side by side. The choice of trust had been sealed, and destiny was waiting just beyond the cracks of the egg. The storm came suddenly, with dark clouds rolling over the alien mountains. Rain poured like knives, and thunder cracked across the strange sky. The human explorer, Captain Daniel, ran through the rocky path, searching for shelter. He had traveled alone on this planet for weeks, but he had never seen a storm like this. The wind pushed against him, almost throwing him off the cliffs. At last, he found a cave opening hidden between tall rocks. He stepped inside, his boots wet, his breath heavy, and his heart racing. The cave was dark and cold, but it was safe from the storm. Daniel lit a small lantern from his pack, the soft light pushing back the shadows. As the glow filled the cave, he realized he was not alone. At the far end of the cave stood a figure, tall and elegant. Feathers shimmered along her body, glowing faintly with colors of gold and green. Her eyes, bright and sharp, locked on him like the gaze of a predator. She was no ordinary creature. She was an alien woman, unlike anything he had seen before. For a moment, silence filled the cave, only broken by the storm outside. Daniel raised his hand slowly, showing he carried no weapon. The alien girl tilted her head, watching him carefully. Her feathers shifted, glowing brighter with each breath she took. Daniel felt both fear and wonder, unsure if she would attack or allow him to stay. Finally, she spoke, her voice soft but filled with power. "You should not be here, human," she said, her tone both warning and curious. Daniel took a cautious step forward, his voice calm. "I only need shelter from the storm. I mean no harm." The alien girl narrowed her eyes but did not move. Closer, she held herself with strength, like a warrior guarding her secrets. Yet there was something in her stare that held more than anger. There was loneliness and a spark of curiosity. For a long moment, they studied each other, two beings from different worlds, trapped together by fate. The storm grew louder outside, shaking the cave walls. Daniel sat down near the entrance, keeping his distance. The alien girl remained standing, her feathers glowing like living fire. After a while, she moved closer, her steps light and graceful. She looked at his lantern, then at him, as if studying his every detail. Finally, she sat across from him, her glowing eyes never looking away. "You are far from your kind," she whispered, almost to herself. Daniel nodded, his voice low. "Yes, I am alone here, exploring, searching for knowledge." Her expression changed, as if his words carried some hidden meaning. She leaned closer, her feathers brushing against the stone wall. "My kind do not welcome strangers, yet here you are, sharing my cave." There was tension in her words, but also an unspoken pull. Daniel felt it, the strange bond forming between them. Fragile and dangerous, the storm outside raged on, but inside the cave another storm was building. Two worlds collided in silence and stolen glances. Every word, every look carried a weight of mystery and danger. Daniel realized this night was unlike any he had ever known. He was not simply taking shelter, he was stepping into a secret that could change everything. The alien girl's feathers glowed brighter, casting strange patterns on the cave walls. Her voice came again, softer this time, almost like a confession. "There are things my people must never know," she whispered, her eyes fixed on him. "And tonight, you will be part of those secrets." The storm roared, the cave shook, and destiny tied them together in silence. Neither of them could guess what the night would bring, but deep inside, Daniel felt that this moment would echo across galaxies. The night of secrets had only begun. 1 month passed since the stormy night in the cave. Captain Daniel thought often about the feathered alien girl. Her glowing feathers, her piercing eyes, and her mysterious words. He believed their paths would never cross again, that the night was only a secret memory. But fate had other plans. One quiet evening, as he set up camp near the edge of a turquoise lake, he felt the air shift. The sound of wings and soft footsteps reached his ears. He turned, and there she was, standing just beyond the firelight, feathers shimmering like starlight. Her presence stole his breath, but this time she was not alone. In her arms she carried something large, round, and glowing faintly. It looked heavy, yet she held it with care and reverence. The object pulsed with a faint blue light, like it was alive. Daniel rose to his feet, his voice low with disbelief. "What is that?" he asked, his eyes fixed on the strange shape. The alien girl stepped closer, her expression unreadable. "It is an egg," she whispered, her voice steady but filled with tension. Daniel froze, confusion written across his face. "An egg," he repeated, as if the word itself carried weight. She nodded, setting it gently on the ground near the fire. "It is not like the eggs of my people. It is something new, something never seen before." Her feathers shifted, glowing brighter with every word. Daniel's heart pounded. He felt fear creeping into him, a fear mixed with awe. The egg was massive, nearly as tall as his chest, its shell patterned with glowing lines like veins of crystal. Every pulse of light seemed to match the rhythm of a heartbeat. Daniel stepped back, his voice shaking. "Are you saying this came from you?" The alien girl looked into his eyes, her silence answering louder than words. Shock spread through Daniel's body. His mind raced with questions, yet no answer made sense. Human and alien, two beings of different worlds. How could this be? The girl touched the shell with a gentle hand, her feathers brushing against its glowing surface. "It should not exist," she whispered. "But it does." Her tone carried both fear and pride. "This egg may bring change, or it may bring destruction." Daniel struggled to breathe. Part of him wanted to deny it, to believe this was only a dream. But the egg was real, warm to the touch. Alive with mystery, he knelt down, studying its glowing patterns. He felt a strange pull in his chest, as if the egg recognized him. The alien girl saw his reaction and stepped closer. "It carries both of us," she said softly. "Your strength, my blood, our night." Daniel's thoughts twisted with doubt. If others discovered this, what would they do? Humans would fear it, aliens would hunt it, and both might try to destroy it. He looked at her, searching for answers. "What do you expect me to do?" he asked. She lifted her gaze, her eyes glowing with determination. "Protect it with me," she said firmly. "Until the time comes." Her words cut through his fear. There was no escape now, no way to turn back. He had become part of something far greater than himself. The egg pulsed again, brighter this time, as if responding to their decision. The night grew heavier, filled with silence, filled with questions. Daniel knew his life had changed forever, but he also felt something else: responsibility. A bond he could not deny. He reached out and placed his hand gently on the egg. For an instant, warmth flowed through him. Visions flickered in his mind, vast skies, unknown stars, creatures of light and shadow. He gasped, pulling his hand back. The alien girl's eyes widened. She too had felt something. "It knows you," she whispered, her voice filled with awe and fear. Daniel's heart pounded, realizing the egg was not only alive, it was aware. The fire crackled, the lake shimmered, and the night grew colder. But in that moment, Daniel and the feathered alien girl stood united, bound by the secret of the massive egg. Both of them understood the danger it carried. Others would come for it. Others would kill for it. And if they failed to protect it, the universe itself might pay the price. The egg of mystery had chosen its guardians, and their journey had only begun. The morning after the egg was revealed, Daniel woke to the sound of rustling leaves. The campfire had gone cold, but the glowing egg still pulsed with a steady rhythm. The feathered alien girl sat nearby, her sharp eyes fixed on the trees beyond. The lake, something was wrong. Her feathers were raised, glowing brighter than usual. Daniel followed her gaze, his hand instinctively moving to his sidearm. The forest was too quiet. The usual hum of strange insects and distant bird cries had vanished. It was the silence of predators. Moments later, figures appeared between the trees, tall alien hunters, wrapped in dark armor made of bone and metal, moved with steady steps. Each carried weapons that looked like spears, but glowed with energy at the tips. Their eyes shone like predators, their movements slow and calculated. Daniel felt his throat tighten. He had faced danger before, but never like this. The alien girl whispered, her voice sharp, "They know. They have come for the egg." Daniel's heart pounded. He glanced at the massive shell, glowing softly between them. The hunters spread out, forming a circle around the lake, their footsteps making no sound. The leader stepped forward, his mask shaped like a skull, his voice deep and rough. "Give us the egg," he demanded. "It does not belong to you." The alien girl stood tall, her feathers spreading wide in defiance. "This egg is not yours," she said firmly. "It will never be yours." The hunters laughed, the sound sharp and cruel. One of them lifted his spear and pointed it at Daniel. "A human," the hunter sneered, "and a traitor of feathers, guarding something that should not exist." Daniel tightened his grip on his weapon but stayed still. He knew they were outnumbered, but running was no option. The alien girl stepped closer to the egg, her body shielding it. Her feathers glowed so bright, they lit the ground around her. The hunters moved closer, their circle tightening. Daniel's mind raced for a plan, his military training whispering strategies he had no time to prepare. He crouched low, whispering to the alien girl, "If we fight, we need to move. We cannot stay trapped here." She nodded slightly, her gaze never leaving the enemy. "They will not stop," she said. "They will follow us until one side is dead." The leader raised his hand, and the hunters lunged forward. Energy spears clashed against stone, sparks flying as the battle began. Daniel fired his weapon, the crack of human technology echoing across the lake. One hunter fell, his body crashing into the water, glowing blood spreading across the surface. But more came, moving faster than Daniel expected. The alien girl moved with elegance, feathers glowing like fire. Her strikes were sharp, her claws tearing through armor. The egg pulsed brighter, as if reacting to the chaos. The hunters' eyes widened when they saw it glow like a living sun. "Do not let it hatch," one shouted, his voice filled with fear. Daniel realized then, they were not only after the egg, they were terrified of it. He shouted back to the alien girl, "They fear it. That means it is more powerful than we know." She struck down another hunter, her feathers scattering sparks of light. "That is why we must protect it," she answered, her voice fierce. The fight raged on, weapons clashing, feathers burning, gunfire echoing. Daniel and the alien girl fought back to back, moving as one, each strike, each shot, keeping the hunters away from the egg. But their numbers were many, and for every enemy that fell, more emerged from the trees. Daniel felt exhaustion creeping into his muscles, sweat burning his eyes. The alien girl's feathers dimmed with each strike, her strength draining. The hunters pressed harder, surrounding them completely. Then, in the middle of the chaos, the egg gave a thunderous pulse. A shockwave of light burst outward, throwing hunters off their feet. Daniel and the alien girl shielded their eyes, their bodies shaking from the force. When the light faded, the egg glowed stronger than ever. Cracks forming across its surface, the hunters froze, their weapons lowering as fear spread across their faces. "It is awakening," the leader growled, his mask trembling. "Kill them." Before it hatches, Daniel and the alien girl exchanged a look. They both understood this was no longer about survival. It was about protecting what was inside the egg at any cost. Daniel's hand tightened on his weapon, his voice steady. "Then we fight until the end," he said. The alien girl's feathers flared one last time, her eyes blazing. "And together," she whispered. The hunters charged again, weapons raised. High, the egg pulsed brighter, cracks spreading, light pouring from within. Daniel felt his heart racing, the storm of destiny surrounding them again. The battle had only begun, and the universe would soon learn of the child of two worlds.